The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
We had to do it.
Had to do the pose. All right, welcome everyone to No Credentials Required, the Saturday Brunch edition, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports, even on the weekends. We are presented by the Belly Up Sports Media Network. My name is Ryan McCarthy. I'm one of the hosts of the show. To my right is a man who's got a lot going today in the Belmont Stakes, Dustin Henry. Dustin, how are we doing today?
You know, I'm regretting putting my mortgage for my house up on the Belmont today, but you only live once. Let's send it.
Scared money don't make money, okay?
Oh,
but hey,
man,
everything works out.
Yeah. Hopefully, I still have my house on Tuesday. No, I'm feeling good this morning. I got some plans with the family. Going to do stuff with my dad after the show today, but I'm looking forward to this. And one of the topics we're going to discuss for the show particularly has my attention. Because it was very interesting. It's not something we usually cover on the show, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
How are you today, sir?
I'm doing all right. I'm having a little bit of a struggle with my sinuses. It's because it's late June. It's late, almost said late June. It's early June, late spring. So everything that just tends to get in the air gets in the air. I'm struggling a little bit, but that's okay. Gonna push through. We're gonna talk some sports. We're gonna sip some coffee. We're gonna talk some sports. I also got some extra libation just in case I need it.
There we go.
So we're good to go. But before we get into this morning's topics, just want to remind you about our social media channels down here below. It's Twitter, Instagram, and the scarcely used TikTok. It's at NoCardsREQ, Facebook.com/NoCardsREQ, YouTube.com/NoCardsREQ. If you're watching on Rumble a little bit later, we welcome you. And also, I welcome one of our streaming affiliates coming soon. Real Wise Radio will be on his. He'll be on his air pretty soon. So check his stuff out. He'll also have an app ready in addition to his website. So,
oh man, I'm downloading that app for sure.
Oh yeah, me too. We're because he's invited us our program to be a part of Real Wise Radio. So we're gonna go ahead with that, and as well as stay on the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. But in the meantime, if you wouldn't mind, just please go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe to all of our social media channels. As you can see down here below, on the podcast side, subscribe to the podcast wherever you podcast, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Good Pods, iHeart, TuneIn, wherever you podcast. Please subscribe. Also, rate and review. A 5-star rating would be very helpful. And if you're on a platform where you can review the podcast, leave us a review. We might even read it on the air. And because we're a live show on Tuesdays at 8:05 Eastern and the occasional Saturdays, which we're going to try to be more consistent leading up to the summer, during the summer, leading up to the NFL season starting just a few weeks, it's just a few months away, less than 100 days away from NFL kickoff. We want your comments. We want you to engage with the show. I see some comments rolling in. We want you to engage with the show. And this sound always makes me feel better. So I'm going to play it. And I know, Dustin, it makes you feel better when you're feeling kind of blue.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'll go ahead and play that magical sound. And we also encourage our watchers and or listeners to engage with the show even after the show. If you're watching on replay, leave a comment in the comment section. Again, we might even read it on the air when we look at it again. So, Dustin, tonight, the Stanley Cup Final begins at 8 p.m. Eastern. And I know you're excited.
I am.
I know you're excited because, we've talked about this on the pod before over the last couple of weeks. You not only have the Dallas Mavericks, who are, I wouldn't say they're limping into game 2 of the NBA Finals tomorrow night, but
that was
things
tough.
to work on.
Yeah, that was tough.
They got some things to work on, but your Edmonton Oilers are the Stanley Cup Final for the first time since 2006, and they're looking to become the first Canadian team, which is interesting. They're the first Canadian team to win a Stanley Cup since 1993. And I know you're chomping at the bit to get your thoughts out there as an Oilers fan. So I'm curious to know what your feelings are about tonight and going in the series going forward. How you feeling about this series? What can the Oilers do to make their chances of finally breaking the streak happen?
Well, it's funny because going into the Stanley Cup or going into the NBA Finals, I thought the Mavericks would do well. I'm not saying that I was like overconfident because I knew the Celtics are a strong team, but game one was a shock to me. I thought it would be closer than it was. And I kind of feel the opposite about my Edmonton Oilers. I am not that confident going in to the Stanley Cup Finals simply because I mean, that last game against the Stars, I believe it was game 6,
Yep.
They got outshot by a huge margin. I remember at the point, and I could be misremembering this because this is all off the dome, but at the point where I was watching the game, the Edmonton Oilers had 10 shots on goal. The Dallas Stars had 35. You cannot get outshot to that degree and win. It usually doesn't happen. What really has been saving the Edmonton Oilers in the playoffs because they have blown leads. That's one thing that I have been bemoaning about on the show throughout their run, and it's why I'm nervous now for the Stanley Cup Finals. But what buoys me, what gives me just a little bit of confidence is that the Edmonton Oilers penalty kill has been outstanding during their playoff run. And that is why, that is a big reason why they are where they are, along with some strong play from Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, longtime Oiler. And Connor McDavid, he's shown up the last, Connor's always going to do great things out on the ice. But I remember in one of their opening series, I said, Connor's got to start scoring because if they're going to blow leads like this, they need Connor McDavid to start scoring goals, not just getting assists and setting everybody up. And he started to score goals the last few games. That has also helped the fact that the Oilers are there. But I think this is going to be a good series. I'm going to pick with my heart. I normally don't do this, but I'm going to pick with my heart. I'm going to say the Oilers break the streak. The Oilers win in 7, so I do not think it will be an easy series, but their penalty kill has got to keep doing what it's been doing because it's a big reason why they are here where they are now. They've got to keep playing defense. Their goaltending in that last game against the Stars was outstanding. They only gave up 1 goal with all those shots on goal, and the Oilers scored 2 goals in 10 shots. That's not going to happen.
They scored 2 goals on 3 shots in the first period of that game.
Yeah, that is not going to happen.
No, it doesn't really happen very, very often. And I did some real-time research because that's what we do on this show, Dustin.
Yeah.
We did some real-time research.
Yeah.
The last time the Oilers allowed a power play goal against their opponent was Game 3 in Vancouver, against Vancouver on May 12th. Mm-hmm. They have not allowed a power play goal since.
Yeah,
I think it's a streak of 25 consecutive power plays. They haven't allowed a power play goal.
I think so. It's something like that.
It's a team record too. It's a team record. I was listening to the Edmonton Oilers broadcast feed over the last couple of days, the couple of games they've had. Because I like the NHL app. I love the NHL app because if you can't watch a game on TV, you can listen for free.
Yeah, I've got it. You've talked about this before. I've got to start doing that. And honestly, I don't know how much of game 1 I'll get to see tonight, candidly. My father is at my sister's house, and I will be going over there to join them and kind of help help. My dad's got some stuff going on, so when his wife travels, he needs some extra support. He needs us to pick him up, and so I'll be over there, and we might be watching the next movie for no credential or no ticket required. So I'm not sure how much of the game I'm going to get to see. I might be able to sneak away and listen to chunks, and I'm going to use that app to do that.
Yeah, I may be headed down to my local watering hole up here in Boston Spa at the factory tonight. So I might be watching there. So we'll see. I don't have ESPN anymore, so it's kind of tough for me to watch. But although I will say, thanks to my brother's Max subscription, I was able to watch some of the games on TNT because they had it on Max too.
Yep.
So, but if I can't watch, if I'm not feeling well enough to go watch, I'll at least listen to the game. And shout out to the NHL for that. I mean, we rag on them constantly. We rag on Major League Baseball constantly for shutting out their audience for blackouts, for regional blackouts. But at least they make the games available. The NHL does. They make the games available for free to listen to on their app or online. So
that's great.
Shout out to them for that.
Oh yeah, for sure. You've got to give them major props for that, because if this was the NFL, you bet your bottom dollar it'd be behind a paywall. No question about it. It is behind a paywall.
And same with Major League Baseball. Even if the games are, you got to pay $4 a month to listen to all the games. So yeah. But thank you T-Mobile. I hate to MLB TV for free all year.
Yeah, we'll see. And that's why, because I used to love, having MLB Network. I was able to keep up with a lot more teams and see a few more games this year. I've been all the Yankees all the time this year because Verizon is not carrying MLB Network as part of my package anymore, which is crazy because I have the sports pass. I have the sports pass, which gets me NFL Network, Red Zone, NHL Network, all these other things. MLB Network was just there. MLB Network was the only one you didn't have to pay for. It was part of my standard package without the add-on. And it really steams me up because I miss, every once in a while I'd turn on and I'd be like, oh, the Reds are playing the Pirates. I'll watch this, or whatever. And my baseball acumen is not where it once was because of that. So I might have to look into other avenues. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sure.
But I am excited, but I'm very nervous. I don't know why. I just don't have a lot of confidence with the way that they've played and the way that they've gotten here with the blowing leads and some of their disparities.
They've been better about that, though. They were much better about that against Dallas.
Yes, they did. They did kind of right the ship, but I'm nervous, but I'm very excited. Happy to see my Oilers in the Stanley Cup Finals again, and I hope whatever happens after this run, and I hope it ends in them lifting Lord Stanley's Cup, but I hope the years after this are much better than their post-2006 Cup run years, because doctor, those were some tough years after that.
I remember, if I remember correctly, Chris Pronger wanting to be traded out of Edmonton because his wife hated the cold. So they traded him to Anaheim, where he won a Stanley Cup with the Ducks in 2007.
Yep,
that kind of started the downfall.
Right.
That kind of started the downfall of the Edmonton Oilers. But hey, they've gotten look. They did the tanking formula where they got all those number one picks, the lottery, for all those years. One of those picks happened to pan out. I mean, actually, no. I'm sorry. Two of those picks happened to pan out.
Yeah, I was about
Nuge, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and Connor McDavid.
Yeah,
Connor McDavid being the X factor.
And I would also give, because if I remember correctly, and I could be wrong about this, because I think it was either Jamie Benn or Taylor Hall. I can't remember which one went one overall, but I think
Taylor Hall.
Yeah, so Taylor Hall,
because he went up becoming a New Jersey Devil very soon after, a couple of years after, and won the Hart Trophy in 2017.
He did. I would say he panned out. He just didn't finish with the Oilers, which no disrespect to Adam Henrique. He's still on the team. He's playing well, but Taylor Hall was done dirty in Edmonton. You know,
he's also done dirty in New Jersey too.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah. I mean, it's true.
Although his trade did land us Dawson Mercer, so hey, I'll take that.
All right.
So there's a couple of wrinkles to the Stanley Cup, this year's Stanley Cup. One of them is the fact that they're introducing. This was the first, and this was announced a couple days ago. It was actually announced on Thursday. This is via Arda Ocal of NHL on ESPN. He's a big NHL fan. He's from Canada. He's follows the NHL, does the NHL for ESPN. He's also a huge wrestling fan.
Oh, okay.
He put on Twitter, the first ever licensing deal between the NHL and WWE is the 2024 Stanley Cup Champions Legacy title belt, which is available for purchase after the cup is won.
Ooh.
And the side plates will be the logo of the winning team. Let's show it off real quick.
Oh man, I might have
Dustin,
to get this belt.
With your dude. With your Belmont winnings, okay? If the Oilers win the Stanley Cup, you have to get this belt.
Oh my God.
Look at this.
Yeah. Oh man,
here's a full picture of it.
I cringe to think what the price tag will be on that thing, especially once the logos are added and everything.
Well, let's take a look on NHLshop.com and on WWE.com. Where is this belt? Oh, it's not okay. It's not available until after the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, they said after the cup was won. Yeah,
I had to reckon. I think WWE shop. They already sell championship belts. They sell championship belts from not only this era, but from like the past eras, which is pretty cool.
Oh yeah, you get that crazy like intercontinental belt that was like
the Intercontinental belt, the World Championship belt that used to be on WCW.
Oh yeah, the big gold belt.
The John Cena belt, the $1 million belt.
Oh, I would get the $1 million belt. I'm not getting that John Cena spinner belt is like one of the worst things I've ever seen. I would get the NWO spray painted belt from WCW, the big gold belt, and I would get the $1 million belt.
Yeah, so they have the new Intercontinental Championship, the old Continental Championship, the old belts from way back when. But yeah, it's gonna be. I'm curious to see. I mean, they're running about anywhere between 425 and 450.
Ooh, all right.
But again, with your Belmont winnings, you could own yourself a title belt for the Stanley Cup champion of your Edmonton Oilers.
Oh man, I might have to get it if they win. I might have to do it.
And you get the championship, and you get the plates to go with it. So you get the side plates that go on the side that say had the Edmonton Oilers logo, like they do with the champions now. Like whatever champion is now, between Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, whoever is a champion, they get their logo put on the plates on the side, right next to the big old thing that shows, hey, I'm a winner.
A sidebar, Ryan. We play in a fantasy league for football that you have been so gracious to run for many moons now. Should we chip in and should we get the $1 million belt as the trophy for that?
You know what? I'll pass it along to the other members of the league because we had a championship belt that I brought as a gag one night to our draft. I think you might have been in that draft.
I might have. I don't,
because I think it was the same draft that Dave went. Dave took Jay Feely. Jay Feely.
Oh man, I will never forget that, especially because the whistle while he confidently slapped the sticker on the board. He took a kicker in like the 9th round.
Well, it was funny. I walked into B-Dubs with the belt, and everybody's like, "What is that?" I said, "It's our championship belt. The champ is here." And all the other tables are doing fantasy football drafts. Are like, "That's awesome! You have a belt?" I'm like, "Yeah, I bought the belt. I bought it because the Toys R Us was still open at the time." So I'm like, "All right, walk in with a little swagger, and bring in with a championship belt." I'm like, "Yeah, champ is here." And I haven't won the championship since.
I know. I think I finished 2nd place this year, which a different Dave was very quick to let me know that. Right. I remember he was in the comments on one of
Yeah, he
our
was in the
shows.
comment section saying,
He goes,
"Dustin."
how'd your team finish?
Yeah, because his son helped him. If he didn't have his son helping him, he wouldn't have won. So you gotta give some credit to him there, Dave.
Yeah.
So another cool wrinkle about the Stanley Cup, and I didn't know about this until yesterday. I think yesterday. I didn't send you the link to the tweet that was out. I'm sorry, it was put out on Tuesday. But apparently, there's a streak. This is courtesy of Bleacher Report Open Ice. There is a streak. Actually, there's two streaks. The first streak is there hasn't been a sweep in the Stanley Cup Final since 2000. Since 1998.
Oh wow, okay.
The last time we had a sweep was 19. We almost had one last year.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we didn't because Florida scored in overtime to win that. I think win Game 4, and then they were summarily beat down in Game 5 in Vegas. But yeah, we haven't had a sweep. The last time we had a sweep in the Stanley Cup playoffs was 1998, and that was off of 4 consecutive sweeps. 3 sweeps before that. Jersey won in '95 in a sweep. Colorado won in a sweep in 1996, and then the Red Wings won in 2 straight sweeps in '97 and '98. Mm-hmm. So that's the last time we had a sweep in the Stanley Cup Final. So that streak hopefully keeps going because the one thing I want for this is a great Stanley Cup. That's what I call the surf and turf Stanley Cup. Because you get the surf with Florida.
Yeah.
You get the turf with that bird of beef in Alberta, in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. So that streak, I hope that keeps going. Mm-hmm. Haven't had a sweep since 1998. The other streak that is ongoing since 1980. It's the Jaromir Jagr Pro Teammate Stanley Cup streak. And every year since 1980, this is the last 44 years, the 44th consecutive season, where a former teammate of Jaromir Jagr, who is still playing at 52 years old, still playing in Kladno in his native Czechia, formerly known as the Czech Republic, he's still playing. He plays for the team that he owns. But since 1980, at least one player, at least one former teammate has been in the Stanley Cup Final of Jaromir Jagr's.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And I'll read off the list. So the first four Stanley Cups from 1980 to 1983 was Brian Trottier. He was part of the Islanders dynasty. 1984, 1985, Mark Messier with your Edmonton Oilers. Mm-hmm. 1986, Joey Mullen with the Calgary Flames. 87 and 88 with Mark Messier with the Edmonton Oilers. 1989, Yuri Hrdina. I'm not sure if he played for either Calgary or Montreal, but let's take a look.
All right, yeah. This is wasn't Jaromir? Jaromir was still in the NHL last year, wasn't he? He was part of that Panthers team, or was that 2 years ago?
No, that was. I think he's been out of the league since 2019, 18.
Oh, okay, all right. So it's
but he's still playing. He's still chugging along. Continuing on, 1990, Mark Messier. 1991 and 92, Mario Lemieux. 1993, JJ Daigneault. He was part of the Canadiens team that was the last Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup. 94, Mark Messier. 95, Tom Chorske. 96, Scott Young, who played for the Colorado Avalanche. And I'm forgot to mention Tom Chorske played for the New Jersey Devils. 1996, Scott Young, who played for the Colorado Avalanche, but I believe he wanted to play for the Washington Capitals after that. Let's double check and make sure. Or he played for the Penguins. Played for the Penguins. Played for the Penguins in 91.
Those Pens teams.
Won a Stanley Cup. Yep. Let's see. Let's continuing on. 1989, Benoit Hogue. I'm sorry. 97-98 was Doug Brown. 97-98 was Doug Brown. He was part of the Red Wings. Played for the Pittsburgh Penguins. 99, Benoit Hogue, who played for the Dallas Stars, and I believe he was with the Stars when Jagr played with the Stars. Don't quote me on that.
I had forgotten Yager played for the Stars. His career is so long that you forget some of the teams he was on.
Yeah, Dallas Stars. Yep. Dallas
Wow.
Stars, 2000, 2001, 2002. Or I'm sorry, it was playing for the Washington Capitals when Yager was with the Capitals.
Okay.
2000, Scott Gomez. That was with his Ranger. That was in his Ranger years. 2001,
Oh.
Chris Drury, same thing.
Mhm.
2002, Brendan Shanahan, when they were both part of the, I want to say, not the Maple Leafs, but not the Red Wings. Trying to remember.
Shanahan on the Blackhawks at that time? I'm trying to remember. I can't remember some of the things. But man, it's like a time capsule. Just seeing all the
No, the New
hearing
York
some of the-
Rangers.
Oh,
New York
okay.
Rangers. Yep.
Yeah, that's right. I remember they got him.
2003, Jay Pandolfo. 2004, Pavel Kubina. 2006, Mark Recchi. I think Mark Recchi was on the Hurricanes.
He was on the Canes at that time.
Yep.
Yeah.
07, Sean Thornton. 08, Andres Lilia. 09, Peter Sikora, who played with them in the Penguins. I believe he played with the Penguins or the Stars or not the Devils, though. 2010, Christopher Stieg. 2011, Mark Recchi again. I'm not sure if Mark Recchi was on Anaheim or Ottawa. Not okay. 2011 Stanley Cup.
Yeah, which cup was the Ducks?
Oh, that was the Bruins. That was Bruins. That was the Bruins.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah, I was trying to remember who won 2011. It was the Bruins. He won with the Bruins. I think it was his final season. 2012, Billy Mitchell. 2013, Dan Carcillo. 2014, Willie Mitchell again. 2015, Chris Versteeg again. 2016 and 17, Matt Cullen. 2018, Alex Chiasson. 2019, Braden Shen, who was part of the Blues team that won the Stanley Cup that year. 2020, Braden Coburn. 2021, John Merrill. 2022, Andre Palat, and they have an asterisk next to it.
Oh,
they were Olympic teammates in 2014. So Andre Palat, part of the Tampa Bay Lightning at the time, now a New Jersey Devil. And then last year and this year, Alexander Barkov. So
wow.
44 consecutive years that a former teammate of Jaromir Jagr, has been in the Stanley Cup Final.
That will never happen again. Like that, there's no way.
I'm praying this gets to 56 and breaks Joe DiMaggio's record.
Well, that's how fitting. It's almost like you know what's coming up next in the show, because I've talked about that before. That is my pick for one of the records that will never be broken: the consecutive hit streak. No way. Nobody else is getting to it.
No. I mean, Anthony Volpe, God bless him, got 21 consecutive games, but unfortunately, he couldn't keep it going.
Jimmy Rollins made it to what, the 30s? I think the high 30s.
Pete Rose made it to 44. Mm-hmm. I think he holds the National League record. So, but this is an impressive streak that I hope keeps going.
I hope it finds a way.
If Alexander Barkov can go to the next 12 consecutive Stanley Cup Finals, this streak will keep going and going and going.
Man, well, it just speaks to like Yager's a legend, and props to him for still doing what he loves to do. You know, it's a great thing.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome.
And
Jaromir, I know Yaro, you're a fan of the show. I know you're watching all the way from Czechia. Come on board. Come on board the show.
We'd love to have you on the show. We'd love to have you. And the NHL, it's kind of a poster league. Well, I shouldn't say the NHL only, but hockey seems to be the one sport where playing into your late 40s is not only feasible, it happens. I mean, there's enough players. There's everybody knows Gordie Howe. He played forever.
Played till 52 years old was his last season with the in the NHL.
Yeah. I mean, and then you got Chris Chelios. He played forever. Jaromir Jagr. I mean, there's enough guys. And I think I think Peter Forsberg played until he was of a more advanced age.
Joe Thornton.
What's considered? Oh yeah, he's still or no, I'm thinking Joe Pavelski. Never mind. Yeah, Thornton.
No, he just retired. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Joe Pavelski's been around for a long time too until he retired after this series. So, All right. Well, you've made your prediction, Dustin, and I had a really tough time deciding who would be my Stanley Cup winner. Florida has got a strong team. I've had a good feeling about them all year. The Oilers, I'm not going to say the Oilers are a Stanley Cup, they're a Cinderella team, because they aren't.
No, I don't.
Although you could argue in November when they were I think they were like 3-9-2.
Yes.
And they fired Woodcroft and they bring in Chris Knobloch. Hey, Nobby!
Yeah.
We're still going to do that. We're still going to do that. If we got to either go to Edmonton or we got to figure out next year to go to a game in New Jersey when they're playing Edmonton, and you sit behind the glass and yell, "Hey, Nobby!" But to see, and Edmonton had that impressive win streak right before the All-Star break, which got broken right after the All-Star break. So way to break momentum there. But they've been impressive. They've been Now I've had my moments of doubt on them when their defense and their goaltending didn't show up. But I think the fact that they started Calvin Pickard in game 5 or 6? It was game 4 of the Vancouver series.
Yeah.
They said, all right, Skinny, take a break. We're going to put Calvin in, and who played very impressively. And then they went up winning that series, and they went up winning the Western Final. Yeah. And now they're at this point. I like Florida. I like how complete they are. I like how aggressive their forecheck is. Their goaltending is outstanding. But the X factor is Connor McDavid. And I think because of that, and it's going to be interesting to see what that matchup between him and Alexander Barkov, because Barkov and Tkachuk are going to be on McDavid and Draisaitl this whole entire series.
Yeah.
And like you said, if their penalty kill continues to impress, and I believe Florida's power play has been one of the best, and actually the Oilers' power play has been pretty good this postseason too. They scored. I think they scored 2 goals on. Was it the first? No, the first goal on Sunday was their power play goal.
Yeah. I was going to say that was the power play goal that they had. McDavid scored that one, I think. And then after that, I think I was in the kitchen washing dishes and I missed the second goal.
You missed Hyman's goal.
Yeah.
Very good pass by McDavid. But no, I think the X factor. I like Florida. I was hoping they'd come back to this point. I was hoping they'd win the Stanley Cup. And then they ran to Edmonton. I'm thinking to myself, this is a really tough series to decide. But I'm going to have to go with it because of the X factor that McDavid brings. He's such a specially talented player. And here's my prediction: Oilers in 6.
All right. Wow. Okay.
But I won't be sad if Florida ends up winning either. I know you'll be sad because it's your team in the Stanley Cup Final, but I won't be sad because it's not the Rangers. First of all, I know why. If you're watching or listening, you're going, "Stop hating McCoffey."
Well, that's the thing too, and I know my Uncle Al's a Rangers fan, and I was telling him we were at a comedy show last Saturday, I believe, while the Rangers game was just getting underway, and I said to him, I think Oilers Rangers would be an interesting series. And candidly, I would have rather the Oilers played the Rangers. So I think the Panthers are a little scarier. They've been consistently good. You can't sleep on the Panthers. I mean, they've upset some titans in the playoffs when they beat that Bruins team, and they beat them soundly. Yeah.
That was last year, and they not only beat them, they didn't beat them soundly. They came up from a 3-1 deficit, and won that series. And that was the team that had the most points and the most wins in the regular season in NHL history.
Dominated the regular season.
Dominated that regular season, and then they blew that 3-1 lead, and the rest was history. And history repeated itself. Met in the second round this year, and Florida went up winning that series too. So. Florida is a battle-tested team, and that's not to say that the Oilers aren't. They are. They've had their ups and downs too. I was pretty confident in them to win this last year's Stanley Cup, or at least go to the Stanley Cup Final last year. I think in my pool, I had Carolina and Edmonton.
Oh, so a repeat of 06.
the rematch of the 2006 Stanley Cup Final, but that didn't happen, unfortunately. But yeah, I that's my prediction. Oilers in 6.
All right.
Connor McDavid is just too special to be held back.
Well, and it's funny because I have the Mavs and the Oilers going in 2 of their respective finals. And I know I've gone long on this, so this is my last thought. But I was discussing with a coworker of mine that if Luka and the Mavs don't get it done this year, like this is their shot, because I don't think they're getting back next year. The West is there are too many good teams in the West, and they've had, the Timberwolves are going to come back stronger. Jokic and the Nuggets are going to be there. The Lakers, if they can retool somehow, they could possibly sneak in. You got Golden State. Golden State is always around as long as that core is together and still reasonably good. So I have like just this nagging feeling that if they don't get it done with Luka on the team this year, this could be it. It could be like a Dan Marino type situation. And I have a parallel feeling that if the Oilers don't win, there was an interview where they talked about this with Ryan Nugent Hopkins after one of the games. They said, your motto at the beginning of the season was cup or bust. Mm-hmm. So if the team is already thinking that, does that mean that if the Oilers don't win the cup this year, there's going to come changes? Does that mean that McDavid is going to want to exit? There's so many things, and I feel like this is their shot. This is it. And I don't want to put that type of pressure, but I feel like the Mavs and the Oilers are in a similar situation. If not this year, then some changes could happen.
Oh, I was surprised. A few years ago after the Oilers made a premature exit, I think in 2021, I want to say.
Oh, after 2021. Was that when they lost to the Kings like early?
No, that was that was a season where it was split off and they redid the divisions for the year because of COVID.
Yeah.
And they lost to the Canadiens in the second round.
Oh, okay. I knew it was an early exit, but I couldn't remember. And then there was the year that I think they blew it against the Ducks. Then they got swept. Because the one year they advanced to the Western Conference Finals, and then the next year they lost very early. And then after that, I think they went up against the Avs, and the Avs dump trucked them.
Let me correct myself. They actually didn't make they didn't make the playoffs.
Oh, no,
they got swept by Winnipeg in the first round, in the North Division.
Okay.
In the North Division semifinal. And then Winnipeg got swept by Montreal in the second round. So, but yeah, I was surprised after 2021 he didn't ask for his exit.
Yeah.
But the second round in 2022, they went to the Western Conference Final, got swept by Colorado. Last year they lost in the second round against the eventual champion. But look, they've lost the last 2 Stanley Cup playoffs. They've lost to the eventual Stanley Cup final winner.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to learn something from those 2 losses, those playoff losses, to get to this point.
Yeah,
I think those lessons are learned. And like I said, Florida is a special team too, but Edmonton's more specialer.
Perfect English.
I had to put the emphasis on the syllable. All right. So before we go to our only commercial break, we're going to take a quick trip to the comment section. Brother Josiah joining us saying hello. He says, happy Saturday, everyone. He's eating his breakfast and listening to his awesome sports ball gurus.
Happy to have you.
Happy to have you, and I hope you're enjoying your breakfast. What are you having for breakfast, brother? I hope that some of it's Invader coffee.
Oh, yeah.
It's Invader coffee. He also says Gordie Howe was epic. For sure. I would have loved to see him. I would have loved to actually have met him. It's like a lot of athletes who have since passed, I would have loved to meet. Gordie Howe is one of them. Because he sounded like a really nice man to.
That would be apropos of nothing, but it works out since it's a Saturday show. That's a great topic for a future segment of the list.
Yes, for sure, for sure. Kevin Wilson, Mr. Wilson from Belly Up Fantasy Sports saying, happy Saturday, Panthers all the way. And this is a guy who's excited for his Utah Hockey Club Thank God it's only 1 year and he's going to be around. Maybe we'll talk about the finalists for the Utah hockey team's name and colors for next year. Maybe we'll talk about that on Tuesday. And then joining brother Josiah saying my brother's in Tampa and he is sure Florida is going to take it. Yeah, I mean they beat the Lightning in the first round, I think in a gentleman's sweep, 4-1. So
yeah,
if he knows about the Florida Panthers and their mighty dominance, then yeah, that's for sure. Florida might take it. Like I said, I'm not going to be sad either way if either the Panthers or the Edmonton Oilers take the Stanley Cup, because both teams deserve it. Both teams deserve to win. But I think, like I said, I think the Oilers are more specialer. Anyway, we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to do another installment of This Week in Sportsball with some topics that you may not find anywhere else. Unless you listen to John Boy Media. But hey, shout out to John Boy Media. We know you're watching. All right, we'll take a quick commercial break. We'll be back with more No Credentials Required. This episode of No Credentials Required is brought to you by Invader Coffee. For the coffee lover who wants good, quality coffee with no bullshit and no filler, Invader Coffee is an ultra-premium, veteran-owned coffee company proudly delivering only the best coffee your hard-earned money can buy. They aim to only serve the highest quality, organic, air-roasted coffee beans sourced from free trade farms all over the world. They keep things simple. The best coffee at an affordable price in order to provide you with the value you deserve for your morning boost. 100% fair trade, 100% organic coffee beans, 100% air roasted, 100% money back guarantee. Visit invadercoffee.com, enter promo code BELLYUP at checkout, and receive 15% off your order. That's right, folks. The only coffee that goes in this mug is Invader Coffee. And Invader Coffee, again, like that handsome man said in the commercial, in the voiceover, 100% air roasted, 100% money back guarantee. So if you order some Invader Coffee, use the affiliate link in the description. Use our affiliate link because that way you help the show. But you can also get 15% off your order with promo code BELLYUP. Get yourself some of the best coffee I've ever had. And the difference between this coffee and some other garbage coffees out there you probably find at the grocery store in the coffee aisle is that these are fresh roasted. Mm-hmm. They're air roasted, so all the acidity is gone. You know how that sometimes you have to put more sugar and more milk in your coffee because it's bitter? This does not have that bitterness because it's the air roasted. It's the big difference between this and other coffees out there. I drink my Invader Coffee black.
Same.
Like a man.
We're men on this podcast.
We're men. We're drinking coffee black like our souls. But get yourself some Invader Coffee. And again, veteran-owned businesses. Do you love veterans? Do you love your country? Support a veteran-owned business by going to our affiliate link in the description. Invader Coffee. Use promo code BELLYUP at checkout. You might spend a little bit more for shipping, but guess what? This coffee comes in 2 days and it's fresh, ready to roll, ready to rumble. Whether you get it ground or you get it whole bean. Personally, I get it whole bean because I have to ground the beans myself. Makes it nice and fresh. But hey, you also get yourself the Keurig cups. Keurig cups are awesome, as Dustin will probably tell you. Keurig cups will do in a jiffy. Yes, they will.
Yes, they will. If you're at the office and you are sick of the coffee varieties that they have there, it rhymes with Breen Lountain. That's what we have at work. But so every once in a while, I decide to class up things and get some Invader in the K-Cup form. But mostly like you, I like to get the whole bean varieties. And I want to speak as a person who drinks the coffee black. I do enjoy a little flavor with my coffee sometimes. But I will say, Invader does it right with the flavored blends.
Yes.
Because the flavor is there, but it doesn't overpower the coffee itself. They really and they do a great job at picking flavors and blends that are going to be, they're going to be good.
Yes.
I with very few exceptions, I have not had. I'm trying to think of a single blend. I don't think I can think of one. There has been no blend that I've had and said, I don't really like this. every flavored blend I've tried so far, I've liked. I have my favorites to be sure, but you're not going to go wrong if pick one of the varieties if you want something a little different, but it's not going to overwhelm the coffee.
That's right. That's right. Again, go to the link in the description. You help out this show. You also save 15% off with promo code BELLYUP. That helps our network as well. So please go ahead, Invader Coffee, fuel for the fearless. All right, Dustin, let's talk some sports ball.
Man.
You know why I picked those clips?
Why is that?
I'll tell you the story about why I picked those clips.
All right.
Because the Castillo bobble was one of my favorite clips from the 2009 season. I turned it around from the Yankees. B, the hockey clip is a tribute to you, to your Oilers, because that was against the Oilers.
Yes.
Patrick Stefan. He's not dead, but I'm sorry.
But that
worked out as well as it could have.
Yeah, that kind of killed his career, and also I don't even know if you knew this, but my favorite Oiler for many years, Ryan Smith, loved number 94. But my second favorite Oiler of that period, without question, is number 83, Alez Hemsky, who would go on to score the goal that would win that game. So
yeah. So the third clip is LeBron James botching a dunk because why not?
LeBron blocked himself from behind on that one.
He did. And the fourth one. This is mostly for our podcast audience. The fourth one was the Miracle in Miami when they scored that miracle touchdown with those laterals against the New England Patriots. Because I hate the Patriots, even though I hate the Dolphins just as equally, if not more.
Yeah, but
that was a great moment.
Yes, it was. And I would say anyone outside of New England, all of us were celebrating that, every single person. And you can call us haters all you want, but it just
hate
felt so good in that moment because it seemed like the Patriots always found a way.
Yeah.
And somebody out Belichick on that. Was that when the Dolphins were coached by Tony Sparano? And
that was Adam Gase.
Oh, that was Adam Gase.
And then they got fired after that. I think the Patriots still won the Super Bowl that year. But that was the year that Adam Gase was fired and then hired by the New York Jets about a month or two later on the recommendation of Peyton Manning. You suck, Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
You're off my Christmas card list because A, you didn't want to play for us, and B, you recommended Adam Gase because you knew. Anyway, this week in sports ball, we're gonna talk a couple of topics. One of them may be kind of offhand for this particular program, but first I want to start with a dumb comparison. And actually, not so much of a comparison, but Brandon Tierney, WFAN Clown Radio in New York City, said this, and I quote. He and his broadcast partner Sal Licata talked about this a couple days ago on their prestigious program. I mean that sarcastically. They talked about Aaron Judge and Juan Soto being the best Yankees duo ever. And this is what he said. This is what Sal said, and this is a quote. He said, "At this point, we don't give Judge enough love. We talk about everyone else and don't give Judge enough credit. The guy is one of the best players ever. You can't pitch to him." Okay. And then Tierney takes it a step further and says this. Oh, sorry. Let me get the right element up here. I gotta get the right element here. He says this. Quote, "Aaron Judge is one of the most feared hitters in the history of baseball. The way they're clicking, DiMaggio and whoever, Ruth and Gehrig. Who is the best? Who better than this Yankees duo ever? Mattingly and Winfield? No. Close quote.
Oh, all right.
I need to leave.
Okay, so I will speak on this. When you put this in the show rundown, I said, one, this is the definition of stuck in the now, and you can't see anything around it.
As Cole also as friend of the show, Cole Johnson would say, prisoner of the moment.
Yes, yes. And shout out to Cole Johnson. Go watch the BS3 morning shift with Cole Johnson.
Yeah. I have to play that commercial at the end.
Yes, I will.
Over.
I watched the replay yesterday. He talks about Will Smith and whether the impending Bad Boys movie release can
go see Bad Boys Ride or Die. It slaps.
Yeah, that was my favorite part. that was a great one from the comment section. But I have to say, like, this is patently ridiculous, okay? Because the first part of the quote, you can't pitch to Aaron Judge. Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
Judge is a great hitter. I'm not going to dispute that. But guess what he does a lot? Strikes out. You can pitch to him. There is a book. There is a manual on how to pitch to Aaron Judge. And enough people have figured it out that he strikes out a fair bit. Aaron Judge is streaky. He is streaky. He's a great hitter, but he is streaky. And I'm saying this as a staunch Yankees fan.
He has struck out 71 times.
Yeah.
This season.
Don't say you can't pitch to Aaron Judge.
One behind Giancarlo Stanton.
Yes. Who people get on for, guess what? Striking out all the time.
Yeah.
So that's ridiculous. And then with all the great players that the Yankees have had, and I'm not trying to take anything away from Aaron Judge or Juan Soto.
No.
Juan Soto, extend him, please. Get him to stay here. But you can't say they're the best ever. We're what, Ryan? How many games have been played this season? Roughly,
we are 65 games in.
Okay.
As of
you cannot say 65 games into their respective time together that they are the best duo in Yankees history. It's ridiculous.
No, don't be a prisoner of the now. And that's what basically it is. I mean, that's why I put LeBron James botching his dunk in our sports ball element for the introduction to the segment, because we have so many, and this is a term that our friend Cole Johnson says came up with, and Snowman, our friend, another friend of the show, Snowman runs with, bronzexuals, who will laud LeBron James because he's the top scorer in NBA history. He's a top scorer in NBA playoff history. Yeah, he's also got the most turnovers in NBA history. Okay, guys? All right. They laud his greatness while completely eschewing the greatness of players in the past, like a Michael Jordan. Like, look, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan. Those three players in the 1980s and into the 1990s kept the NBA alive.
Yes.
It was a dying league before those three arrived. So to say that Yo Kang is the greatest player ever without lauding the greatness of without looking at the giants that he stands on, the shoulders of the giants he stands on, is completely taking away from the greatness of the players in the past. And the same goes for this particular quote by Brandon Tierney and by Sal, what's his face? I don't know how to say his last name here. Sal Licata, who say, yeah, these two judges one of the most feared baseball players and feared hitters in baseball history. Okay. So let's look at his stats for this year. He's got 54 walks and 71 strikeouts. So he doesn't walk for as many times as he strikes out. He's 17 less walks. If he had showed more patience at the plate, he would be a more feared hitter. The reason why Barry Bonds has the most walks in Major League Baseball history is because he was feared by pitchers.
Yes,
because
I couldn't have said it.
Because sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm kind of rolling here.
Yeah, no, we're gonna go on the roll.
But the way he approached his at bats, being so close to the plate, and he wouldn't get the strike zone shrank, and the way he cranked out homers. And yes, you can argue about the stats with his inflated stats, with his inflated head after he allegedly took that magical cocktail from Balco. But he was still, even before the whole steroid scandal, the Balco scandal, he was still one of the most feared hitters in baseball period, the 1990s, because of the way he approached every at bat and how he crowded the plate and how his bat speed was just ridiculous, was off the charts, with or without Balco.
Yeah, and that's I didn't mean to jump in there, but I was about to say the same thing, but you got to it first. Barry Bonds was the epitome of a feared hitter in baseball. People would walk him in 4 pitches at the peak of his power. And he wouldn't be. And that's the thing. I was going to say, I'll probably get a lot of hate for saying this, but I'm glad that you said it first. That's why we're hosting together. The synergy, the magic, it's there. Mm-hmm. But anyway, that's the thing. You can say all the things you want about the steroids and Barry Bonds and what he did, but last I checked, steroids doesn't help your plate discipline and your vision and your selection at the plate. And Barry Bonds was one of the best at that. He was an extremely disciplined hitter.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah, you're taking away, I'll say this again, just to kind of reiterate my stance. You are taking away the contributions of the giants that stood before you on the shoulders of the giants that these two currently stand on, Judge and Soto, to make a point because you want ratings and you want clicks. You want the cheap stuff. You want the junk food. You want the junk food of conversation. This is junk food. Mm-hmm. You want something with more depth and more richness, and you're saying it to be hyperbolic because you're doing it for ratings.
Yeah.
But you look at all the duos from Yankees history in the batting lineup: Ruth and Gehrig, DiMaggio and Berra, Mantle and Maris, Jackson and Thurman Munson, God rest his soul.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Mattingly and Winfield, Bernie Williams, Derek Jeter. And now you got Juan Soto and Aaron Judge. They're just a part of that history. They are not the great. Look, I hate to make this comparison. I'm going to say this is kind of cheap to say too. Win a World Series.
Yeah.
Then you'll be at that level. And yes, like I said, I agree with you, Dustin. Please extend Juan Soto. Do it in season so it doesn't stretch out until free agent market when he'll probably be signed by the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, no offense, Dr. Lady.
Even though her Dodgers won last night, I don't hold that against her. I don't hold that against her because that was a great game. That was a great game if you didn't pay attention because it was goose eggs until after the ninth inning. It wound up being a 2-1 win for the Dodgers, but I don't hold it against them. Regardless of how they develop and sign players, because for all the crap that the Yankees get for buying championships, quote unquote, the Dodgers started that phenomenon of giving Kevin Brown that $100 million contract back in the day. It's on them. On the Yankees.
Infamous Kevin Brown.
That's right.
Punching stuff and breaking his hand.
Exactly. All right, next topic in This Week in Sports Ball. We're going to talk some cricket. We're going to talk some T20 cricket. Not a joke. All right.
Yeah, this is not a direction I thought our show would go, but I'm happy we're here.
Me either, because I just had to note this story because of the way it just reverberated around the world, in the world of cricket at least, because you don't think the United States is a cricket world power.
No.
But we're actually, the United States is actually hosting the T20 World Cup. And the difference between, and I had to do the research on this myself. I've actually kind of been paying attention since 2021, or 2020, whichever year. But there's regular cricket, whose games can take forever. And there's T20 cricket, which you only get 20 overs. It's 6 balls per over. So you get 120 pitches thrown to you. and you try to accumulate as many runs as possible. So the United States is hosting the World Cup, the T20 World Cup this year. It's the first time they've ever hosted it. I guess this professional cricket league that's coming to the United States, or has been playing in the United States for a couple of years now. But the United States, this is the first time. I think this is the first time they've ever been in the T20 World Cup. They wind up beating Pakistan, one of the world's best teams, in round robin play. And Pakistan's big mad. They are big mad. And I went to YouTube right after I saw the news. I saw the news came out. I looked at YouTube to see the reaction. And one of those reactions, I took a screenshot on Twitter. I actually shared it to our Discord. And I shared it in the obscure sports quarterly section. And the title of the video is "Shameful." They spell it with 2 L's. Defeat: Pakistan versus USA. Last overreaction. Basically, what happened was that the game was tied after the 120 throws. After the 120 throws that they are allowed, it was tied at 159 runs, and they went to extra overs, and the United States wound up winning that extra over. I think 17-10. I think. And we made history. The United States makes history, beating Pakistan, one of the world's best teams, in this tournament. Is this a new miracle on ice?
I don't know if I would put it on this level, but I will say, because I did a little research after you sent this. I said I got to look more into this myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I think World Cup, I think soccer, so I was like, what is this? And I checked it out. And apparently from some of what I read, these players on our U.S. cricket team that beat this Pakistani team, the U.S. players have day jobs. They have office jobs. One of them is like a developer for Oracle or something like that.
Yeah, one of the bowlers or one of the batsmen works for Oracle.
Yeah, which I found, and so I think that's why, because I don't know much about cricket, but I knew that India and Pakistan were 2 of the heavyweights in cricket. Like, it's their thing.
Yeah.
And so this is a massive upset. For what it's worth, I do see there's a park by my house, and there's a bunch of people that get together and play cricket.
Yeah.
I haven't seen them in a bit. It seems like they used to do it on Wednesdays, but I haven't seen them, so I don't know. But sometimes I would stop and watch and just try to figure the game out a little bit.
Yeah.
This is a monumental upset, but I don't know if I could put it with miracle on ice. But hey, we'll take it. We'll take it.
So this tournament's taking place in the United States this year.
In Texas, right?
This game was in Texas. It's all over.
Oh, okay.
They have it's co-hosted between the West Indies and the United States. So it's basically the Caribbean and the United States. Let's look at the schedule here. Yeah, because the United States earned an automatic in based on the fact that they're hosts. They're co-hosting. They actually advanced to the quarterfinals because they've already won 2 games in their 5-team group. They beat Canada 197 and 194 in their first game. Then they beat Pakistan in the what's called the super over, which is basically overtime. And then they face India they have a game on Wednesday in New York.
Oh.
In East Meadow, New York, at Nassau County International Cricket Stadium, which I did not know existed. They're playing India, which is they're top 3 in the world, and then they play Ireland 2 days later. Ireland typically, they're still in there. So, but yeah, the United States, they advanced to the Super 8, and then the other brackets, and it's in between Barbados and Antigua, Guyana, Trinidad, St. Lucia, and then there's the other bracket, which is split between Dallas and New York and Long Island. So I'm intrigued now. You got my attention. You got my attention. I'm hoping, we can win out. Hopefully we'll upset India. I don't know if it's going to happen, but we upset India. All we need to do is beat Ireland and we're pretty much advancing. So we've already beat Canada. So once again, we're dominating our Canadian neighbors to the north, our little brothers. We're dominating them in another sport. Canada. Take that, you hosers. Although to be fair, they did beat us in the bronze medal in the FIBA tournament last July. So as soon as I heard that news, I basically said no. That was my prediction. That actually parlayed into my prediction for the Olympics. The United States men's team will not medal.
Oh man. All right.
They will not medal. Because I hate that they did this. Like all the big NBA players who stayed home for the FIBA tournament, they're like, we're going to come back and play for our country, like LeBron and Kevin Durant and Steph Curry. And all those guys who did not play in the FIBA tournament are playing in the Olympics. I'm like, that's selfish. You guys are jerks, and I hope you don't medal.
Well, it's also, to get a little bit off topic here about Olympic basketball. This isn't 1992 in the Dream Team,
the rest of the world's caught up.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. The rest of the world has caught up, and the rest of the world knows the rules to Olympic basketball better than we do, and they use it to their advantage.
Yeah.
And I mean, look at that. You got two players in the NBA Finals right now: Kristaps Porzingis and Luka Doncic. Both have played for their countries in Europe.
And I think Slovenia won the FIBA World Cup last year, if I'm not mistaken. Either Slovenia or Serbia. Might as well do some live research and find out.
We're going all over the place this episode. I love it.
No, it was Germany.
Oh,
Germany won the FIBA tournament last year.
Oh man, that's surprising.
Because they beat us in the semifinal by 2.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember reading that.
Sad. Sad. And now you want to come back after they beat us in FIBA and we're going to come back and we're going to win the gold medal because to prove a point. Whatever.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Whatever.
I'll still watch it because I get swept up in Olympic fever when they happen. But I don't know if this is a popular take or not. I prefer the Winter Olympics to the Summer Olympics. There's more for me to watch.
There's less events to pay attention to, and hockey.
Yeah.
Although I've said for years that ice hockey should move to the Summer Games.
Yeah, that would be cool. I would enjoy it. Yeah, because it's right after the Stanley Cup. You get some of that fever going. Yeah,
you can keep the momentum going, and you don't have to pause in the middle of the season to keep to have your players participate in the Winter Olympics. So. What was I going to say? I was about to say something. I couldn't remember what I was going to say. Oh, well, never mind. So next topic in this week in sports ball. I got to give credit to our guests, friends of the show, Levac and Gotts, for this, because I heard about this on their program on Thursday. There was the video has been taken down on TikTok, but it showed a video of basically Kyrie Irving's dad and his wild story. So, Kyrie Irving's dad, I forgot his first name. I want to say, some say it's Julius Irving, but I don't think that's his name.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. I'm trying to do some
Dredrick Irving.
You got me. Okay.
Dredrick Irving. So Dredrick Irving, he played at Boston University, was one of the top players at BU. And after his career at BU ended, he went to look for a job, worked at Hertz car rental. And then some of his former teammates were like, "Hey, what you doing here? Why are you working here? Why don't you play ball?" And to prove a point, not say prove a point, well, actually to prove it to himself he could still play, he tried out for a team in Australia. And when Kyrie and his siblings were young, he moved to Australia. While that's happening, his mom passed away. So his mom passes away, and his dad, they go back to America. His dad ends his career in Australia, and then he winds up working at the World Trade Center. 9/11 happens. He survives 9/11, and he's working his tail off to support his kids, and he puts Kyrie through private school, and then he gets recruited by Duke. And when Coach K is recruiting Kyrie at Cameron Stadium, he put up on the big board, on the highlight board, they put up highlights of his dad playing at BU because Coach K coached against Dredrick Irving while he was an assistant at Army at the U.S. Military Academy in West Point. They were in the same conference at basketball. I think they played in the Patriot League, if I'm not mistaken. BU and Army. So they were kind of having a debate after that, and we talk about how Kyrie Irving is kind of the villain. You know, he's a flea guy. He didn't get the COVID vaccine for personal reasons. He has this theory that I don't know if he said this just to be transgressive, but he was saying that the Earth is flat. And
he's a flat earther.
He's a flat earther and all this stuff that kind of makes him. He's been to so many different teams. He's been disliked among his peer group. I think it was Brown from the Celtics who said that Kyrie was an effing loser. He's an effing quitter. He's quit on every team. He's Jaylen Brown. He said that he's quit. I saw this on TikTok. He says he's a quitter. He's quit on every team he's played for. He quit on us in Boston. He got traded to Brooklyn.
Right? Yeah.
They winds up in Dallas. And
I shredded
him. And you shredded him.
Yeah.
I mean, initially, he and Luka, he took away, as he said, Luka's smile. But this year, they've bonded.
Yes.
They've become basically best friends. And he's become one of the best players in the teams in the playoffs when Doncic has been, when Doncic's game has kind of suffered. So after this video came out, and after I heard about this video, I'm thinking to myself, is Kyrie Irving less of a villain now because of his dad's background?
Well, I would say, and this is very intriguing. So shout out to Levesque and Gaz for putting us on to this one, because and it's become somewhat of a joke, but I apologize to Kyrie Irving many times, and it's mostly because, yes, I do believe that he's become less of a villain, and it's not just due to his dad's background, although his dad's story certainly helps because it fills in the blanks, and you're like, oh, I didn't know all of this. This is amazing.
I didn't know all this either.
But the other big reason is don't get it confused. I have always respected Kyrie Irving's game, and I was a big fan of the Uncle Drew commercials from back in the day. Go watch those on YouTube, the extended cuts. He's making people look like fools out on the basketball courts dressed as an older man. It's funny. They made a movie based off of that. I don't think they should have done that, but it is what it is. But I think the other big reason, and I've seen Kyrie acknowledge this, he has matured. He has realized some of his past mistakes from what he said. One interview, and I'm paraphrasing, he said, I was concerned about a lot of other stuff at some of the other stops in my career. And I get here, all I want to do is win, man. Something like that, he said. And you can tell his mindset has changed, and he's kind of grown up. And he said, if I can help mentor people and impart some advice, I'm here to do that. So I think it's two factors. It's his dad's story, because that definitely helps paint him in a different light. And then the other factor is he has matured. There's no denying it. I did not agree with some of the past ways that he's handled things. I didn't, and I did kind of think that I know the Celtics fans are never going to forgive him. No, they did not like the way that he was in Boston. And then he came back with Brooklyn. He did that whole thing, stomping on the logo, all that stuff. And also, personal beliefs aside, him not getting the vaccine, which is his right to do, but it cost him. He was not available to play for Brooklyn in any of the home games, which that hurt his team. There's no denying that. Whether you agree personally with the vax or that requirement or not, basketball's a team sport, and he wasn't available because of his, his stance on that. So a lot of teammates are going to look at that unkindly, probably because they want you out there, especially a player of his magnitude, because there's no denying his talent. But I think Kyrie has matured, and he's kind of taken the mentorship role, and he's embraced the team, and he's found by all, from what I've heard, he's found a situation that he enjoys in Dallas.
And he gave Luke a smile back. So
yeah,
that always helps. That always helps. No, for sure. I mean, one thing in the video that I saw about Jaylen Brown, verbally dunking on Kyrie, he says, "Well, he won a title off LeBron's back." No, he didn't, because I remember this from our excursion back from New Jersey back in 2016. Kyrie Irving hit the game-winning shot in that game, in Game 7. Not LeBron. LeBron helped with that block from behind.
Yes,
but Kyrie hit the game-winning 3.
Mm-hmm. And if you watch things this week, LeBron himself has come out and said, "I'm so happy for Kyrie. I miss playing with him. I'm sad I'm not playing with him anymore." LeBron has acknowledged, love or hate LeBron, and I know there's been moments where I've been a little bit of a LeBron defender on this show, but he
Are you
acknowledges,
a LeBron sexual, Dustin?
I am not, but
thank God.
LeBron acknowledges, he straight up acknowledges that Kyrie was a big help to him in that Cleveland title run, because he felt like he didn't have to shoulder the load.
Right.
He knew that if he wasn't clicking on all cylinders, Kyrie was going to be somebody that could hit big shots and take over a game and help close out a game. It wasn't all on LeBron,
Watch now. After the season, LeBron says, "I'm gonna take my talents to Dallas."
Well, there was a video that came out.
Go away, LeBron.
Shaq was talking to Dirk Nowitzki. It was on some podcast or something. I saw the clip on social media. Shaq said that Mark Cuban was trying to get him to Dallas many, many times, and it just
he does he does have the player option after this season. After this season, he has a player option. So he can declare himself. He can declare for free agency if he wants to. But I think he's going where his son goes.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
For sure.
Whatever team gets Bronny gets LeBron too. Whether that's a positive to you or a negative to you is neither here nor there.
Personally, I think he should stay away from somebody who has 1 year of college basketball experience behind him and only averaged 6 points a game. And that's my opinion. But here's the thing. He said he declared for the draft, but he's also entered the transfer portal as well. So
yeah, that's a little confusing.
The transfer portal rules in NCAA are just it's no longer a portal. It's more like a revolving door.
Yeah, it's changed the game, to be sure. It's changed the landscape of college sports.
Yeah. All right, our last topic in this week in sports ball. It's even more aftermath from the Scottie Scheffler arrest. And it was yesterday afternoon, and we'll give credit to Lachlan McLean from Spectrum News 1 Kentucky. He posted this on Twitter, and I'll share this tweet. And basically, what happened was that the Louisville PD, Metro PD, says that he released a bunch of previously redacted documents from the Scottie Scheffler arrest. Here's the quote-unquote injury to Detective Brian Gillis and the infamous $80 pants. That's his knee injury.
Yeah.
There's his pants.
This was the part that got me. Those pants are damaged beyond repair.
They're damaged beyond repair. And he also put in the same tweet, added, says Gillis also had a wrist injury. He said he didn't need EMS, but another office said it was protocol. That's his wrist injury. It was a scrape.
Yeah.
See, stop trying to be super cop, okay? This is what happens. Eventually, the truth comes out, and you get dunked on by whether it be by a reporter or some rando on Twitter and social media. Yeah, that's your knee injury. Those are your torn pants. That's your wrist injury. Come on, man.
Yeah, this guy's never going to live this down.
No, he isn't. He isn't. Which is, I would say, sad, but at the same time, you kind of put this on yourself.
Yeah.
I suffered a knee injury, a wrist injury, and my pants have been torn beyond repair.
I think do you have a you could take that to a seamstress. They'll take care of it, no problem. Tailor. Hell, my grandma probably could have fixed it if she was still here. My mom, I know, could fix it. There's things you could do.
Yeah, there's ways to repair. That's not beyond repair. I mean, come on. Seriously, Officer Gillis.
Bitch, are you for real?
Oh man.
Hey, Bishop Bullwinkle, were those pants beyond repair?
Hell no. To the no, no, no. Hell to the no. Hell to the no. To the no, no, no. Listen.
We haven't used those elements in a lot.
Yeah. It was nice to dust them off for that.
To break those out. All right, before we get out of here, we just want to take one quick visit to the comments section. Kevin Wilson saying, Utah better not screw this up. In terms of the Utah Hockey Club and their new nickname and colors. Sick Diggy, friend of the show, joining us from Norway, saying, "What in the Captain Crunch peanut butter without the jelly?"
I believe that was in reference to the quotes about Judge and
Soto, yeah,
Soto being the best duo.
Clowns are gonna clown. He also goes on to say T20 cricket is another name for saying 2020 cricket is a shorter format. He also asks, has the U.S. ever hosted a Rugby Sevens tournament? Yes, because it's part of the whole, if I remember correctly, the World Rugby Sevens, it's a touring league between nations. So, yeah, I think every February or March, Las Vegas hosts the U.S. Rugby Sevens.
Oh,
yes. But they're also going to be hosting the Men's World Cup in 2030, the 15s, and 2031, the Rugby World Cup, Women's World Cup is going to be in the U.S. So we got a bright future in these sports. We're going to invade these sports that nobody thinks we're going to invade. Also says one of the best teams in T20 cricket is the West Indies. Yeah, they're co-hosting with the United States in the World Cup, the T20. India has the biggest professional league. Yes, I believe, I'm trying to remember what it's called. The IPL, the India Professional, the India Premier League. Unfortunately, Pakistan's Cricket Council forbids Pakistani players from playing in the Indian Premier League. That's a shame.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you got nukes pointed at each other.
Yeah, it's probably
kind of dicey. But they can play in other leagues like Australia, and I think England has a Premier League as well. There's field hockey in the Summer Olympics, unless you prefer roller hockey. Yeah, but they play the square skates rather than the inline blades.
Love roller blades, man.
Yeah, roller blades.
Still got them in the garage.
There you go. Oh, and speaking of Weisel Hefe checking in, we got to acknowledge him, of course.
Of course, yes.
If I can find that PSA. Where's that PSA? There it is.
The following is a public service announcement from Wise El Jefe.
Boston.
This has been a public service announcement from Wise El Jefe.
Always good to see him in the chat.
Yeah, happy to join the airwaves of your launch, man. I'm excited about this, and also can't wait to have you on the review for the program. It'll be nice to get your thoughts on that one.
I forgot I didn't say this in the green room, but we may have another guest joining us for our subsequent movie reviews. So
Ooh.
I'll keep in the loop about that. And then Sick Diggy saying either way, Kyrie is still accountable for his actions. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, if you're a good man, you're accountable for your actions. If you're I'm hoping that he acknowledges the fact that maybe in the past he's been kind of a nozzle.
Yeah.
When it comes to his actions, and he's acknowledged those actions and he's moved on and learned from it. And apparently, from what Dustin has said, he's learned from his actions. He's a better teammate for it.
Yeah, and you know what? Just the last bit on this is two things. One, we here in America, I can't speak for everybody, but I feel like the U.S. in particular love a good redemption story, right? So
Yes.
we will forgive the transgressions as long as you're coming back up, and we also love to watch a fall. We can't get enough of it.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of it myself sometimes, but we love a good redemption story. And then, just as an aside, Sick, is there a sport that you do not know anything about? You're like an encyclopedia over there.
I'm gonna guess netball.
All right, I don't know what that is.
Just Google it. Google it when we're done.
All right.
We're gonna get out of here. Don't forget on Tuesday. Oh wait, before we get out of here, let's go ahead and play that. Let's plug Cole Johnson's show. The morning shift. Let's give it some love.
Whether it's news, the largest egg producer finds bird flu in chickens at a Texas plant, weather, devastating tornadoes rip through the heart of the United States, inspiration, a breast cancer survivor completed the journey of chemotherapy, and now begins a future one of matrimony, or sports. Michael Jordan is shown on a photo with Diddy. LeBron James has a video extolling the virtues of a Diddy party. This has been yet another beating a dead horse presentation. We got you covered. BS3 Network proudly presents The Morning Shift with Cole Johnson, live every weekday morning beginning April 29th at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central.
Yeah, so check out Cole's show. It's a great show. And Sig came back with, I've seen a few matches of netball. Trying to get him on one. All right, we're going to get out of here. Before we get out of here, though, we just want to remind you about our social media channels right down here below. Twitter, Instagram, and the scarcely used TikTok at NoCredsREQ, Facebook.com/NoCredsREQ, YouTube.com/@NoCredsREQ. Also on Rumble, the replay on Rumble. And don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to all of our social media channels. And on the podcast side, subscribe to the podcast. We've seen a pretty good projection, pretty good increase in our downloads. May was one of the best ones we've had in a very, very long time. So thanks for everyone for checking us out. But we want tell your friends about this podcast. Yeah. Tell a friend, tell an enemy, tell whoever. Spread the word about this podcast and subscribe. You can find it on whichever podcast platform you prefer, and rate and review. A 5-star rating would help. Also, if you're on a platform where you can review, that way it gets the word out there. This podcast, it does exist. It does exist.
We do exist.
We exist. Damn it.
It's like that old Eminem Christmas commercial. He does exist. They do exist.
They do exist. All right, we're going to get out of here. Don't forget to come back on Tuesday at 8:05. We'll be reviewing the movie Rush 2013. Remember, 2013, not 1991. There's a distinction. We played the trailer on Tuesday's podcast, but we'll be reviewing it this Tuesday at 8:05 Eastern. But we do want to thank you for tuning in to No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports, even in the Saturday morning edition. We're presented by the Belly Up Sports Media Network. For Dustin Henry, I'm Ryan McCarthy. We'll be back on Tuesday with our next installment of No Ticket Required. So tune in then, watch the movie, review it with us. We'd love to have you join us, and we'll see you on Tuesday.
Good morning, everybody. Well, good afternoon, everybody, in 1 minute.